pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop. It's a pit stop. Pit stop.
And we are back with your Purple Pants podcast, pit stop coverage of our rewatch of Amazing Race, season 6. I'm so excited. Well, season 5. I didn't jump the season. I'm so excited.
You don't need to watch 6.
A million reasons why I'm so excited today. But our rewatch of Amazing Race season 5, episode 6, I'm joined by my co-host, the amazing, the talented, the ever so loving, caring, and giving, the Miss Brooke Cam High, the winner of season 29. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I've got maybe reason number 7,362 why I'm so excited today. How about you?
I bet I know what that reason is.
And what could that be?
It's one half of Team Walla Walla joining us here for the Purple Pants podcast because people are excited about the rewatch and people are reaching out and saying, can I come on and discuss with you? To which we are saying, absolutely. I can't wait to hear your take. I'm excited to hear it. For anyone who is not looking at the screen, we have Danny of Danny and Angie with us today. Hello.
Thank you. I know Brooke usually comes with lots of notes. I've got my notes today. I'm ready to go. Color coordinated and everything. So
color coordinated.
I know.
Brooke must be wearing off because I have notes as well. I watched on a plane. But wait, before we get into Amazing Race, I have to address the. Let me figure out how can I have to address the missing audio car in the room. Danny, why do you look so different? You look great, but I really feel like this is the first day of 8th grade and the last day of 7th grade. We saw each other and you didn't look like this. Now it's the first day of 8th grade and Danny came back and Danny's like, I go by Daniel now.
And people are like, who is that new student? And you're not a new student.
Yeah.
You just had a very eventful summer.
Yeah, very eventful summer. I'm vying for a spot on Bryce's calendar. You know, I had to change it up. So, but no, it's been a fun summer, and I was like, gotta go with a different look. Went to the New York finale party and was like, oh, I kind of dig the mullet. Like that's fun. Like let's keep spicing it up. So, mom is like, get rid of it. No mustache. She is like, if we go back ever, you got to ditch it. And I'm like, nah, I think the mustache.
No, I think you should add a pair of like Coke bottle glasses and just get a very 70s vibe. I have a question. Bryce, has a zaddy ever had a mullet?
In the actual calendar, I'm not sure. But I want to say yes. But seeing you look so amazing really makes me so sad, Danny, because like I did just close out, like I just pressed on the new calendar. And so I'm heartbroken that I didn't even think of it. But you know, there's always 2026. And
or we just make a flyer and insert it with everyone.
I mean, we just insert, but we would have to insert Angie and then, you know, maybe next
year.
True.
I think Angie would need to make the slide. She did call me right before and she's like, why am I not on? And I went, Mom, do you really want to go watch?
I've been asking that for a long time. I feel for Angie.
Who said Angie is not in the new calendar though?
Danny, how would you feel if you turned to April and it was just your mom?
It's just Mom. I'd be like, okay, Mom, okay.
It's because she didn't have a mustache and a mullet. That's what it is. Now you know.
But well, we just had to address that because Danny, you look great. But
yes,
I am.
So do you, Bryce.
Oh,
so do
thank you.
As always, you always say such nice things about me, and I always want to be like, "Hi, welcome to the Purple Pants podcast, where I am here with the king of all things, large and small, handsome, gorgeous, brains, brawn, beauty, you name it, he's got it." Bryce,
Danny Butler.
No, that shirt. I love that shirt. That's an awesome shirt. It
Thank
gives
you.
You should be here with like a gentle breeze right now.
Yes. Well, I mean, my podcast room is like 30,000 degrees. And I have a gentle breeze, so don't you worry. But listen, okay, wait, guys, we got to talk because y'all kept saying season 5, Colin is crazy. Who? What did I just watch on episode 6?
We haven't even gotten there yet. The thing is this: if you think this is nuts, you just call me in 2 episodes. We'll just
I was
have a
gonna say
conversation.
this was mild, Colin. I was like, oh, Colin's yelling. Dang.
Colin being Colin.
Okay,
Just wait.
I mean,
Danny, have you rewatched the whole season up to 6, or did you just you know it?
I watched 1 through 6.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so you know where we've been and you know where we are,
Oh yeah.
but you've seen the whole thing, so you know where it goes too.
Yes.
Bryce has not, so we can't spoil anything because I cannot wait to get that phone call.
There
where-
was some growth though. Like Colin, this episode wasn't as awful as she's been before. So we'll see.
or as he'll be in the future.
physically assaulting somebody isn't as bad as what he has been. Oh,
You ain't seen nothing yet, as they said. Right, exactly. Well, I mean, normally what I would do is I would just say, honestly, did I not? I did write it down. I was going to say, did I not write it down? Let me just do a where do they start and how has it been and so on and so forth. And I'm going to let Mr. Color Coded take over because you don't even need me here today. Why am I even here? That's accurate. I could probably just be lifted out. Anyway, episode 6. We're still in Egypt. Bryce knows I hate when we stay in the same country, but not in season 5 because they do so many things. They go so many places. And we made a couple little jokes that like in one leg of season 5, they did the entire route of season 36 because they go so far. It's not your fault. You didn't ask for it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. They did 78,000 or something ridiculous and 6 continents, 78,000 miles or something like that. And I think their first stop was Uruguay. And I made a joke. I was like, I think that's as far.
Yep, that's as far as we made it.
But it is what it is. And what it is amazing. Okay, so we talked in the last recap about how Linda and Karen are the victims of the first time they are using the world's second worst, because they didn't actually take all of their earthly possessions. They just took the cash.
And whatever was in their pockets.
Well, they just took the cash. Well, if they had cash in their pockets, that's what they took out of their pockets.
Phil said whatever's in your pocket. He didn't just say the money. He said whatever's in your pocket. And I really want to say that like Linda had like a Reese's cup. Did you see like the Reese's cup that she handed? Like
not her chocolate.
Yeah. Phil wanted
Where did
everything.
she get a Reese's peanut butter cup? Okay, fine. So we're about to see Linda and Karen beg locals for money in the worst twist ever. Our thing, if you ran out of money, our rule was you could only ask other contestants and other teams. You weren't allowed to beg. And I assume that's the rule as it stands today.
Yep.
Yeah. So they've learned their lesson because it's just horrible. Okay, so and they're off. We have Colin and Christy 7 hours ahead of everybody. At one point, they were 12 hours ahead, but you can't be 12 hours ahead forever. 7 hours ahead, leaving at 11:30 at night. The next team leaves at 6:40 in the morning, which is Charlotte and Myrna when the light is up. The funniest part is basically Colin and Christy leave wherever they're sleeping to go sleep out on the street somewhere because they can't do anything anyway. Brandon, Nicole, Danny, I don't know if you've watched their stuff, but Brandon and Nicole are Brandon, Nicole, Jesus, Satan. They're a team of 4. They leave at 6:48. 6:40 something. Chip and Kim leave at 6:40. Thank you.
Okay, Danny.
Chip and Kim leave 1 minute later at 6:46, followed by Marshall and Lance. Who cares? Cammie and Carly leave at 8:30, and Linda and Karen, who really did a lot to come back, given Karen's bum ankle, leave at 10:09 in the morning. I was saying at the last recap that I love the fact that a non-elimination, when people aren't leaving in groups, you actually get to see how far behind the team that would have gone home was, because you never get to see that. So about an hour and a half. And so at this point, teams are going to the biggest pyramid in Giza, the Great Pyramid, and they have to now go 350 feet into the earth, where, like, if you're a bigger dude, like, you can't stand up. Charlotte walked, which cool. I like that. You're basically going to the center of the earth, to the creation room, to find your next clue. I'm not scared of tight spaces or like dark, like, I don't really get claustrophobic, but that's like 35 stories down into the center of the earth. That's a lot. Is this something you guys would be comfortable doing?
I think so.
Like,
Yeah, that'd be a blast. I don't know if mom would. Mom'd be like, no, I got to go into the grounds. She'd be hiking up the stairs of the Columbia Mountain. She's like, oh, I'll do that again.
Well, because that's like fresh air. There's something to be said for like being entombed in the center of the earth. But I don't know. And then the worst part I think about it is like people were scooting on their butts. Like it wasn't even like you had to go down, but it was at least cavernous. You had to go down and there was no room to maneuver. That part I think would probably get to me a little bit.
Yeah, I just I would freak out and like have a fast movement and realize how constricted I am, and then I would go crazy. But did you see Brandon? I believe he went down, right?
They all went down.
Everyone had to go down, right? So this is what I love. But I Brandon got a little hot. He took his shirt off, and I was like, oh, okay. Now, would the good Lord like you showing your body, your unwed body to unwed unwed women? I don't know if that because Brandon is a man of his faith, and I'm not making fun of that, but I'm just saying you chose hockey over shots.
As long as you don't take a body shot off someone, I think you're probably okay. The good Lord made you. You show off what the good Lord did.
And
Nicole liked it. Nicole was like, I'm more in love.
Nicole liked it. Myrna liked it.
Myrna liked it.
Everyone seemed to like it.
I mean, Brandon could potentially have a shot for the Zaddy calendar as well. I mean, I don't know.
But not before Danny.
Not before Danny.
Okay, so sorry, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, wasn't it last episode, though, Brandon, they had the challenge where it was like tight spaces or something, and Brandon's like, oh, I don't like tight spaces at all. In this, there's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine going into a cavern 350 feet into the ground.
I can't stand up straight. Yeah, I think he didn't like crevices. That's why he didn't want it to be.
He had Nikki with him this time. That's the difference.
Yeah.
True.
So Colin and Christy set off first with their 7-hour lead. Unfortunately, their 7-hour lead becomes 40 minutes because of the hours of operation. But honestly, 40 minutes is a lot of time in the Amazing Race. So even if it's 4 minutes, you take any advantage that you can get. Yep. They go down to the center of the earth. And then after this, you have to travel 400 miles to Luxor, Egypt. I said something about the next page. Oh, and then try to find. Okay, so Colin and Christy go down to the center of Earth. They're out before the next team even shows up, which is actually really great. Because could you imagine being down there and not only being super constricted, but having like people in front of you where you can't actually, and behind you where you're sandwiched? I'm starting to think maybe I'm not as comfortable with this as I thought I was originally when I said I was.
I also was thinking this is a way, like, say if Myrna, if the girls, Myrna and Sharna, it's a way that they can hold up the group though, right? Like if they were to go down first and everyone would have to kind of like trickle down. And if they were to go up, I was thinking of Danny a little bit, like, kind of jumping right in there and slowing things down, but it wouldn't really work because then all the teams will be right there and right after them. But I was also thinking last episode, Danny, Chip pissed me off last episode. And what I am realizing is that I think we now have the fundamentals of what Danny Butler modeled his game after. And I really think you could have modeled your game after a Chip, because Chip was out here helping people when he should not have been helping people.
Yep. Yeah, but Danny Butler was out there not so much helping some people when he could have helped some people. So, Danny, what place did you guys come in?
We got 6.
So maybe he did model after Chip and Kim. We'll see where they are at the end of next episode.
We shall. It was interesting though. Like, I wrote down like there was the little bit of the edit of like Uchenna. It's like, oh, I'm trying to build confidence to do more stuff, and then I was like, she's or not Uchenna.
It's Kim, yeah. So Kim in this episode, that's season 7, Bryce. You'll get there when we skip 6, because honestly, 6 is not even really worth your time. 7.
True.
So Kim does mention in a foreshadowing event that she wants to start pulling her weight. She wants to start doing some roadblocks. She does one the whole season. But this is the time. This is the moment of Kim. She's going to be doing something. And as they run across the screen, Charlotte and Myrna all the teams are jealous of how great we are. I love them. Even when they're never actually failing spectacularly. But even if I feel like they were, I feel like they would still be we're so wonderful. And they can't. They only fail up, I feel like, because everything works out for them. So I do feel very badly for Bryce, there are camera people that travel with your team, and then there are stationed camera people. The camera person who was stationed in the center of the earth and had to stay there forever, like I physically cringe for that person because it just had to start to get very uncomfortable.
I don't, because I wish that was the camera person that was with Danny and Angie last season, because maybe they would have stayed stationary and okay.
Well, maybe.
Okay. Maybe if they was 300 feet down in the earth, we would have found them quicker, but
true.
I digress. Because I'm still mad at that, Danny. But
that's okay.
I love that you're more mad than Danny is. That's the part that really
no. I've processed. Now it's just a thing of like, oh, it happens. It happens. Now bring us back. Please bring us back. Please, please, please. If you're watching this, bring us back.
Danny,
I'm on board for that.
Yes, we will vote. I'm on board on that. I was so pissed at what happened. I had to go back 20 years and start watching other seasons because I was like, I can't get near this new era. But okay, sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I mean, feel free to jump in, take over. I don't care.
Also, I guess Marshall's knee is really an issue at this point. And I don't know if it's Brandon's God or my God, but do you know, Danny, who JoJo Siwa is?
I know who she is. Yes, she was on Masked Singer.
Do you have you heard her new single?
No.
Okay, it's Karma's a bitch and you should have known better, but it's really a song that she stole. But yeah,
she stole it. Well, Karma's a bitch. She should have known better. Are you kidding?
Marshall's knee
sounds like a real
kneeing,
Grammy Award winner. Mm-hmm.
And the limp has turned more into a like shuffle. And when they got here to do the go under 300 feet, I was like really concerned, like what's going to happen? But to my surprise, he was like, it's not that bad going down. And as much as I am not a fan of Marshall and Lance, it really does, in my opinion, highlight some positive qualities of Lance, because I think that just from this part, what I'm seeing, Lance is a good brother, because let that be my brother. Oh, I'm cussing him and his knee out.
Oh. Emily and Molly could never from season 34. So, and there's a spoiler. There is somebody who has a not great knee, and she pushes through it. She's like, "Nope, I'm moving forward." So,
who has a not great knee
in this episode? No, 34. Emily and Molly.
He watched it. We
y'all watched it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did that one. Yes, she was a trooper. I will say honestly, Marshall was at this point pretty much a trooper, because if you're going down that far, you have to go back up that far. And he's like, I'm just gonna scoot on my butt, and he did a good job. Cammie and Carly go down, and they talk about how they're easily confused. There's literally one way down and one way up. I don't know how that's so difficult. And then Linda and Karen, I feel like they have such a positive attitude as it starts, because this could be so like sort of disheartening to be like, we have nothing, and to be in a country where you don't want to. It's just like, hi, here's our $1 million production and our film crew. Can we have some money? Like, that's not cool. They do the cool thing and they wait for a bus of tourists, and they start asking tourists, because who better to ask than the people who brought a lot of money with them on vacation. Anyway, so when they get to the center of the earth, they're told they have to go to the old Cairo airport and fly to Luxor. Teams can take a charter flight.
Airport?
That would be the old Cairo airport. Let's not be confused with the new Cairo airport. Yes. And they could take a charter flight, leaving at 11:30 in the morning, or they could book their own. I love all the flight drama here. It's really, really wonderful. And then in Luxor, they need to find the Karnak temple and their next clue. Danny, anything to add right now? I know you have so many notes. I want you to be able to use them.
There's something after this. Are we going to talk about the unaired yield?
Sure. We always say where there's a yield and they don't use it.
Okay,
do you know an interesting additional tidbit about the unaired yield?
Let me just also interject real quick. It's like when you're amongst amazing racers, the knowledge and the way that you guys are so excited for this yield just makes me excited. But also I'm ready to hear it, Danny. But it's just so funny because it's like, I feel like it's a thing of Survivor too, where it's like, oh, you know what? Like, so I just love the excitement.
It's
Bryce
fun.
for Survivor 50. I'm just gonna put it in there anywhere and everywhere I can. You can roll your eyes all you want, but when you win $1 million, you're gonna buy me a nice little present for being the one. Because I'm now taking full credit.
That's true. Who else is memorable from your season? I don't know anybody. Nobody.
Nobody else
you know
was there.
about that line, Danny. Okay.
That's really funny. Okay, so we have Myrna and Charlotte.
Wait, is Danny going to tell us the yield?
That's
okay.
after. So I would say the flight thing was like interesting. Like there was the taxi drama.
This is the taxi drama. This is where Charlotte and Myrna get into Colin and Christy's cab. But Colin and Christy's stuff is in the trunk. There is a rule in The Amazing Race. You cannot take someone else's cab. If their stuff is in the car, it is their car, even if they are not in the car. And Colin, for as crass as he is about it, is 100% right. My stuff is in the car. Get out of the car. And then Charlotte and Myrna just continue to sit there and be like, well, we just, what? And I think they were just a little bit having fun because they knew they had to get out of the car. And there's a little something about like goading someone who is so easily annoyed that I think they just had a little bit of extra fun with it.
They were smart though. They realized that they wanted to get to the charter, right, to check the planes. And so they were like, well, why try to hail a taxi when another taxi's coming? So they were smart. I just almost wish they weren't so stealth with it, right? Like I wish they would have waited for Colin and Christy to get inside and then go. But although
second they took their bags out of that trunk, that cab is free reign for anybody. So they did do it. They did jump the gun a little bit early, but I think a little part of it was just sort of have fun at Colin and Christy's expense because they're so easy to like at that. In 2004, they were very easy to goad. Anyway, Linda and Karen have now gotten money, journeyed to the center of the earth, and have 1 hour to get to the airport. And they go to the new Cairo airport, despite very clearly asking their taxi driver if they know where the old Cairo airport is. Danny, did you ever have? You didn't have a lot of taxis though, because you.
We had one. He was amazing. He was the best taxi driver there was. He made up so much time.
What's that like, having one really good taxi driver?
I don't know. It's pretty good.
I was saying to Bryce that taxi drivers very much want the fare, and so when you say, "Do you know where something is?" their instinct is just say yes, 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 and try and get you there. Linda was very, very clear that they needed the old Cairo airport, so I can understand her frustration when you're in last place.
Well, this is what I will say, is that I love the bowling moms, but I didn't really like the way Karen was talking to taxi drivers. Like, I kind of felt like it was like a little uncomfortable. I even felt like when she got in to say like the new, like I just felt like, yeah, you could say it a million times, but you know, me as a well-traveled person, sometimes it's like, you need to do a little more than that. And then when she got back in the car, I was like, I would never want to be like 13, Karen, my mom, and I was supposed to wash the dishes. And Karen came home from bowling and she didn't win bowling and the dishes weren't washed because the way she got back in that car and was telling him, I was scared.
I hear it. It's just at some point,
you have to balance the like, okay, we need to go where and we need to know where with the like, hey, getting to know you. But I did think like the fact that she made the like sly comment where it's like, all right, you're going where you need to go. Like that wasn't necessarily necessary. I thought that they weren't going to make the airport though.
They weren't going to make the airport. And in some strange twist of fate, because unless you're Charlotte and Myrna, this fate doesn't happen for you. All the teams are still at the airport because everything is always delayed. So the flight was delayed. Everyone's still at the airport. Oh, yes, please. You with the mustache.
So this is a controversial take. There's a chance that this is their chartered flight. This is a chance that it is the last flight out of there. And so they were like, this is the last place. And so I think that there's a possibility that they held the flight to make sure all the teams got on because it was their chartered flight.
I buy it only because if it was a charter flight and the last flight, I think that the race assumed that all of the teams would have been there and made it. It wasn't like you have to make this flight or find another one later. If there isn't one later, I can see how it would have been held because otherwise the game's over for them if there's no other way to get out.
I like that though. And I like kind of like having little equalizers here and there at different times to kind of like, even if you think you're in the lead, it kind of gives someone else a chance to make up. So I'm not mad at that. So that's a big thing. And with season 5 that people feel like they just held the plane for them. And so where do you get this information from, Danny? Do you just know from like back in the day, or enlighten me?
I think it's just like maybe a educated assumption that
Angie's friends with Linda.
True. The bowl
Really?
all together.
Oh, wait, is this wait, Danny, is she lying?
I'm joking.
Oh, I was about to say, Danny, is Linda your aunt?
No, but
How do you take that on? It took a while, but
no, they're great grandmas at this point with how old.
and they're not that old. They were in their 40s 20 years ago. Come on.
True.
Well, I mean, they could be great grandmoms.
In their 60s?
Yeah.
Girl,
Great grandmothers?
I have a caseload of a great grandmother that is 45.
Okay. I guess it's possible. 15. Great. No, that's not. What? How is that possible? You have a kid at 15 who has a kid at 15. You're a grandma at 30. Okay, fine. Who has a kid at 15? You're a great grandmother at 45. Okay, I guess. Sure. They're not, because I know I've done where are they now? So they're not great grandmothers at 60, but fine, whatever. Okay. Each his own. Live your life. At this point, I should be basically a great grandmother then. I got some catching up to do. Okay, so all the teams land at 2:30 in the afternoon, and they're in a row going to this temple. Chip and Kim is great. Their cab driver is fantastic. He's playing chicken. He's going around all the other cab drivers. And then the teams get to this temple. Is this where is the on-air? Am I close to the yield? I don't want to pass it and miss it.
That's right where it is.
Danny be mad at me.
Yeah, it was at the Karnak Temple. Teams have the option to yield the team, but none of the teams chose to use it, which is fascinating.
And for a yield, the team has to be behind you, correct? In order for you to yield them. So I also wonder if
you can yield somebody in front of you, but it won't matter.
But it won't matter, right? So I wonder if that partly is the reason, though, that it wasn't used. I wonder, like, what the order was that they what's the order that they got to the temple?
Oh, I mean, know that I know the order they got to the temple. Oh my God, we've been stumped.
Right, you
I think it. Well, yeah, I think I wrote down what order they got to the temple. Yep, it was Colin and Christy, Brandon, Nicole, Chip and Kim, Kari and Cammie, Charlie and Myrna, and then Lance and Marshall is what I have in my notes.
And I'm a firm believer that if Marshall's knee was better and they were in front of Myrna and oh my God, about to say Myrna and Shmyrna. If they were in front of them, they would have yielded them.
There's been a yield every episode so far, and nobody's used it.
Really?
Are you not listening when we do these? Because I tell you every week there's a yield, no one uses it, it goes on air.
I think when I watch the episodes and I don't see it, I think that okay.
Fine, you don't see it, it didn't happen. Okay, so teams now buy tickets for this temple, and this is the moment that Bryce is talking about. Colin pushes Myrna in the ticket line. No, you know what? You talk about it.
Take it away, Bryce.
Because you can tell by your face you've got thoughts.
So, again, I'm on this plane, and I, am screaming. Because at first I'm like, did he really just saw her? So I had to, rewind it back 4 times. And so he didn't really push her, but he air bumped her. And it's like, okay, Colin, you're a jerk. And thank God I was only 4 in 2004 because
yeah, me too.
Colin would have got them hands because what? And also it's just I know it's 2004, but also it's 2024. We protect our women. Where are all these other people that just let it happen? And it was Colin's look, right? Because he did it real sly. Because when she says it, I'm like, well, what just happened? So I had to rewind it. And mind you, I'm on Wi-Fi on the air flight. So it's like I'm hitting rewind 3 times and it goes back 20 minutes. So it took me a while to get there. But when I finally got to the spot, the way that he like, and then he looks at the camera like, take that. Like, he's despicable. Like that.
My favorite part of this is Myrna's response, which is like, his girlfriend is submissive and he can dominate, but they're jealous of me. Like, she's just so, I really enjoy her. Like, not even nothing really, she doesn't sink. She's just like, I get it. They're jealous of us because we're amazing.
They are.
But
yeah,
being physically assaulted is not okay. I don't care if it's 1986, 2004. Like, I really feel like something should have been done. Because I just feel like our ladies are just out here being attacked, specifically Sherna and Smyrna. And yeah.
This is why we're not going to watch season 6, because season 6 has a real incident of like, we're going to skip it. We're going to just on to the next. So I'll tell you about it later. Okay, so the next thing up is the Detour. We have Heard It or Howl It. Is it Howl? So you can do Heard It, which you have to haul it. Thank you. I can't read my own damn handwriting. You're amazing. So you have to travel 5 miles. Now, this is the slower one, but honestly, it's probably the one that I would have done because I like animals and I will do the animal detour 11 times out of 10. So you have to travel to Banana Island, love the name, and load 10 goats onto a sailboat and deliver them to a shepherd on the other side of the Nile River. Just like how cool that you're on the Nile. And this is so like inspired. Okay. Or I'm going to say haul it. It's not what I wrote, but okay. Travel 3 miles to Pigeon House Farm along the Nile, fill up an urn with water, using some ancient water filling device activity. It's just so much easier. Why didn't everyone just do this
way
one?
that Phil describes it though? Like when I was listening, I honestly thought herding would be faster. It wasn't until like I saw it that I was like, oh, whoever didn't do this is crazy. But the way young Phil described it, I was like, oh my God, the goat herding. Thoughts?
Well, I would say like the thing is tricky whenever you have to lead an animal, whether it's a camel, whether it's a donkey, whether it's a cow, whether it's something where I am always hesitant, where it's like, I don't know if I can rely on an animal versus herd it is you're just picking up the animal and putting him in the boat. And so I think I probably would have chosen herd it even today, being like, okay, am I going to trust a donkey? If the donkey doesn't want to move, not much I can do.
We had to lead a donkey, and I loved our donkey. He was so cool because I firmly believe that animals can tell when you're an animal person, and if you're respectful to an animal, they will be respectful to you. There were people who did not like animals and who were a little forceful with that donkey, and I'll tell you what, didn't go anywhere. So whatever. Okay, so Colin and Christy do the bucket thing. Brandon, Nicole, Jesus, and Satan do the bucket thing. The interesting part is the men are jumping on the donkeys and riding, and the women are walking beside the donkeys. But okay,
Danny would love it. Angie would be up on that donkey.
Well, we know, Danny, you don't like
horses.
You like.
Yeah, right. I'm not a big horses. I feel like donkey is in that realm. So
well, that's fair. Donkey. I remember you saying you didn't like horses. Was there like some? Did you get thrown? What was the experience?
Yeah, I was at a pony fair when I was 4 and I fell off one of the ponies and then it kind of trampled on me a little bit. And I went, horse is not my vibe.
You were trampled by a pony?
Yeah.
Define trampled.
It probably stepped on me. And then Papa or Mom just grabbed me and picked me up and I went, and then I was traumatized.
That's fair.
And was the first time that you ever got back on
the horse? Please say back on the horse.
Back on the horse. Was it Amazing Race?
No, I had gone. Mom actually like grew up with horses, and so she rode a lot, and I would go and say hi to the horses. I would not get on the horses, but I would say hi to the horses.
Like from a safe distance.
Yeah, safe distance.
I love it. If you had to like get up close and personal with a horse, would you have done it? Okay. Yeah. Fine, because you're a true fan and you're not going to let anything stop you.
There's one thing that would stop me, but who knows?
Inquiring minds. What is it?
No, crabs. If they had either of those 2 crab challenges from like, what was it, 17 and then 32, we would have taken the penalty.
What?
Wait, what's the crab challenge?
Go ahead.
So they had to get into a tank of huge crabs, and they were all banded. And on one of the crabs, the claws banded had the clue, and it was about this big. And they are just in this giant vat of crabs everywhere.
But anything else with the exact same challenge, you would have gotten it as a crab thing?
Yeah, it's a crab thing. It's like genuinely.
Is it the number of legs? Because I have a spider thing.
I don't know. I fell in when crabbing when I was a little kid, and so I think I'm traumatized from crabs.
Wait, so you fell in the crab crate or just the water?
The water. So they like pulled up all the crabs, and they were all on the docks. And then to get away from the crabs, I jumped in the water because they're all on the dock. But where do the crabs go after the dock? They run back
to the water.
So this is why I could never do Survivor, Bryce, because the amount of crab scenes, I'm like, They pull out.
They're hermit crabs, though. They're hermit crabs. We don't see a lot of them. They will go and find those stuff and film it for the show. But real quick though, Danny, how did you get out of the water with the crabs?
My dad just picked me up.
Okay,
put me on the dock. Yep.
But since then, do you
you would have taken a penalty though? Legit penalty? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Do we eat crabs?
No, I can't. I can now, but I couldn't go in grocery store aisles like next to the aisle that had like the crabs and the crab legs. Like I had to change Survivor when a crab would pop on the screen. I would have to close my eyes. But now I'm better. Now I'm great.
But not so much better that you wouldn't take a penalty in a future season. I think you need to work on that fear because crabs have shown themselves on The Amazing Race multiple times. And when it comes up, when you guys get to go back, I want to be able to stand up and cheer for you like haughtily and mightily and be like, yes, over his fears. Says someone who, by the way, would fully take a penalty.
Right. I'm about to say, Brooke, for season 40, winners at race, if they have a spider detour and it's your turn to do it, what are we doing?
So Colin and Christy, it depends on what it is because honestly, the season after mine, they did have spiders involved in one of the challenges. My dad called me and said, you would have quit. And I was watching behind. I hadn't seen it yet. And I then did see it. It was a roadblock where one team member had to eat scorpion and frog's legs and whatever. The non-participating person had to stand there with 4 tarantulas on them. Now, the thing is, Scott and I had this conversation. If you were eating a lot of something, he was going to do it. If you were eating an exotic something, I was going to do it because I'm very adventurous in what I will eat. So I would probably have been the eater. So it probably would have been okay. Although being in the same room, I think I would have probably just have to flight home at that point. So yes, I too should get over my fears because absent shaving my head in India, I think I would like to say there's nothing I wouldn't do for The Amazing Race.
We can just go on Fear Factor together when they redo it.
Very, very, very big pass. Okay. Bryce, what's the one thing you wouldn't do? I was going to say nothing.
Nothing.
Because I am brave and I am strong and I am brave.
I'm not brave. I'm not that strong, but we conquer our fears over here. So I'm ready to go. I'm from the school of Angie. Okay. So
you're going to get in that race car despite not wanting to get in the race car.
Is there anything Angie wouldn't have done?
No, she said she would do it all.
Come on. Reason 700, 6,032 why we love Angie.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry.
She'd shave her head. Good for her. Okay. Yeah. So Colin and Christy first, Brandon and Nicole second.
However,
they do the easy one. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to talk about the water challenge because I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but when I was watching it on the plane and you had to go down to the river, fill up the jar, get on the donkey and walk back. Watching that, I had the wherewithal to think this would have been a challenge for Anthony and Bailey. They really could have got the water. I feel like they are animal people. And I really feel like this would have been a challenge for Anthony and Bailey. That's just how I feel about it.
Anthony and Bailey would be 350 feet down on the ground being like, where do we get out of here? I'm not sure how to. No, I'm just kidding. They're great. They're smart. They're wonderful. This would have been it for them. You're absolutely right. I don't think they're old enough to have been on this season, but had this been a challenge on the current season, I think this was the one where they would have come in first. See, I'm just starting to agree with you whenever you say it. Chip and Kim comes in third, and he's talking about how they came from South Central LA and how they're now on the Nile River. And he's honestly, I love how like happy they are and how much they're just taking it in and enjoying the scenery and enjoying the experience. He loads the boat. She's keeping him in the boat. Then you have Linda and Karen, who are still staying. What?
What did Kim do again?
She's keeping them in the boat.
Oh, okay.
She's the loader. She's the keeper.
Yep.
You know, I'm rooting for everyone black this season. So,
one team.
I have to
right.
root for one team. But I got my eye on Kim because I'm trying to figure out, is Chip carrying the chip on his back all by himself? I don't know.
See, but not fair because Christy's done one roadblock and What's-Her-Face has done one roadblock. And Kim actually says, I want to start doing more. I want to start pulling my weight. I want to be a contributing member of this team. Those other two, they didn't have that same.
They demolished that caviar. They took it for the team.
But one thing also is like the relationship between Chip and Kim is like Kim is such an encourager and they both encourage each other. And there's something to say about regardless of if a partner carries in a challenge or not, the dynamic and the energy and the confidence that you have going into a challenge when you have a supportive partner or a partner that's like not giving you a bad time or going to analyze everything gives so much confidence. And I think Kim just like does an amazing job. And Chip does a really good job of like uplifting her too.
So there.
So no, you're right. I 1,000% agree with you. I think I need to be more clear about my critique, right? Because going in, I'll admit, I sometimes judge book by their covers a little bit. And I just knew that like Chip would get on my nerves and I would love Kim, right? And I think from the beginning, Kim just presented as this strong player. And so I kind of was like a little baffled when I saw how much Chip actually is killing it. And so like for me, I'm like, well, where is the Kim that I met in the beginning? I think that really is my critique. Not that she's not doing anything, but
I think sometimes it just takes a little bit of time to like gain your confidence. And because she has such a strong partner who, when he gets to certain things like eating the caviar, just like runs past everybody else, I think that she doesn't want to say, oh, I'll do it, and then not be as good as he would be, because every time he is in a roadblock like this, he surpasses everybody. So, but I think everyone has really, really good points about this. Then you have Linda and Karen, who are staying very positive. They're the second team out on the water, despite the fact that their goats and their sheep do not want to cooperate. Fine. And then you have Cammie and Carly. I just read these two can't do anything right today. Like they're not having the best day they've had on the race, I think. I'll leave it at that. And then Charlotte and Myrna, this is the best. It's usually Myrna who's like, I can't, I'm scared, whatever. Charlotte's terrified of the goats. This poor woman is like, she doesn't want to touch it. I would be sitting there petting the goats, loving the goats. I'd be like, Scott, get the goats. And I would just be like, I'm here with my people. Like I love animals. And these two, it's rare to see Charlotte. I would say that this is the first time on the race where we've seen Charlotte be anything other than super confident and ready to do whatever's in front of her. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's usually how she is.
Yeah. It was pretty funny to see Myrna being like, Charlotte, keep him in the boat. Just don't let him out. She's like, I'm trying. And I'm like,
she's like goaltending there where she's like, okay. And then last but not least, but last, you have Marshall and Lance. But this, I do like that Lance makes a comment that he has enough energy for the both of them. So he's going to carry the team. When the time comes for him to step up, he is stepping up. So fine. Maybe it's just Marshall that annoys me. I don't know. But I do appreciate Lance's comment that he's not getting down on his brother, because it would be very easy to do so and just be like, you're messing up our experience for the both of us. But he does stay very supportive, and I appreciate that. I will call it out when I see it, and I see it now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's easy when you can take all of your anger out on Charlotte and Myrna. You can go nice on your brother. But no, I do like that about Lance, though. I think that he is taking it with stride and really like uplifting his brother. So despite how I feel about them, I think that the brotherly bond is definitely there. And it's like, okay, making me like, okay, Lance, that's it. Just a okay.
Okay. Danny, what have we missed?
I think that is like pretty everything. Charla's comment I wrote in quotation of her saying, "I'm gonna die with the goats." It just made me laugh. I went, they have so many good iconic lines where I go like, I feel like you two were made for TV. They are made for TV, but it's fun when you find an amazing race team like that, where it's like, you're just there to give us witty lines. I feel like that was very much like Karishma and Kishori on our season of like all these just amazing one-liners where it's like, this is Charla and Myrna.
The best part is Charlotte has done so many things that were so much more terrifying and harder and everything than just keeping some goats in a boat. But this is the thing that's going to end her. But okay.
Everyone has a spider, horse, crabs, and goats. So this is
to talk about this. Okay, so then the teams have to take a marked taxi to the Habu temple to find their next clue. This temple, gorgeous. Like this whole just the scenery and the Egypt legs, and then it gets even better. Like, I mean, I don't even know if it's better, but different. Like to go to the natural wonders and to see. I don't think they go to Egypt enough. They don't go to this part of the world enough, but it's just so beautiful. I think they won a lot of like cinematography awards. They should. And so they go there and they have to do the roadblock. This roadblock is part of so I know Danny does escape rooms. I'm an escape room junkie. If you have ever done a Egypt theme escape room, you know what a scarab is. You have to always find a scarab in a pile of sand somewhere in an escape room. Use a scarab to solve some puzzle, whatever. So they say scarab. I'm sure Danny knew. I knew right away. All of the teams are like, what's a scarab?
Yeah, what's a scarab?
Like, I don't totally understand that, but okay, if I'd never done an escape room, I wouldn't necessarily know what it is either. It's a beetle, and it looks exactly the same as everyone ever did in every escape room I've ever done. Yeah. So it says this task requires keen eyes and a lot of patience. So the team member, I hate these kind of tasks personally because it's mostly just, needle in a haystack, and those can get really, really tedious and hard. And I don't, Bryce, I think you know this at this point, have the most patience of anyone on the planet. So I think I would lose my mind. Right. So the team member must use a set of archaeological tools, which is like a sand sifter and a shovel, to dig in a marked area of sand for a stone scarab to get their next clue. This is where Chip and Kim do it for me. I love what happens when Chip and Kim, now they're not first, they're second. So like we're skipping over Colin and Christy, who get there first. Colin thinks a scarab is a sword. I don't know. Whatever. He lucks out and finds it fast, realizes it's not in fact a sword, and goes. My favorite thing that happens this episode is Kim. Kim, who has decided she's going to do a roadblock, and it's not the easiest roadblock. It is hot. You can get tired. It's starting to get dark. This is not just eat some slimy caviar. This is exhausting. She is finally doing one. Chip is, first of all, doing something you're not allowed to do anymore and telling her where to dig, because if you're the non-participant in a roadblock, the rules now are you have to keep your mouth shut and you can only encourage. You can't say anything about anything. But she finds it and she's like, and takes it and runs. She doesn't help anybody. She doesn't tell anybody. She doesn't feel the need. And she's like, this is great. She does such a good job. I do believe this is the only roadblock she will be doing for as long as they last on the race. And that makes me kind of sad because I do think that she had the capacity to do so much more, but her husband is very good at stuff. And so I can understand why she would lean on that.
Hot topic or hot take. I don't actually think Chip is that good at all that. Like, I don't think Chip is actually all that good at stuff. I think he just has the right energy. And so some things he's better at and they exceed, and other things they kind of like squamble a little bit. But again, I love Chip and I love Kim, and I was happy that she got the scarab, and I was happy that she didn't share it with anybody. It kind of gives me a little Chip Danny, Kim, Angie vibes where Kim knew not to say anything. So I was like very excited.
Fair. And then you have Cammie and Carly. They find it quickly. Carly falls over. All the locals laugh at her. I always think it's funny when the locals laugh at people. And then you have Brandon, Nicole, Jesus, Satan, whatever. Brandon does this one because Nicole doesn't want to do anything. Jesus doesn't do any roadblocks. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Sometimes I just write myself ridiculous now.
I think Brandon was like praying when he was doing it, like, or like, Lord, please help me. And it's like,
because he was struggling a bit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's right there with you. Footsteps. Have you ever read the poem Footsteps?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
In the sand. And then he finds it.
Not the sand.
I mean, but he
does find it. They find it in fourth. Myrna goes in there. She is not a quitter. She's not finding it. She's having a hard time, but they get it in fifth. And then Linda and Karen show up. Linda has the biggest pile of sand. The sand is basically her height if she stands up. And she's getting discouraged. And then it's getting dark. Like, can you imagine having to just do this in the dark with like one little light on it while you do it? But she finds it in the dark. And so I got no problems. I really like them. And you know what? When you get down to the bottom and it's Linda and Karen and Marshall and Lance, and this podcast has been very vocal about their love for Linda and Karen and their
distaste.
Just like them for Marshall and Lance, I'm actively rooting because I know it's not going to be another non-elimination like this quickly. And so Linda and Karen find it. I get very happy about that. And then Marshall and Lance show up. And in another amazing race first. Bryce, you're here for so many amazing races.
I know. It's like, but there's just so much to this that confuses me, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So when Marshall and Lance get there, they're, again, surprise, surprise, Lance is doing it. So then for me, what seems like 15 minutes into it, they're like, we count the scavengers and we realize it's the seventh one. I'm sorry. Did you guys think of how the pace that you have been playing at? Did you think that there was somebody behind you? Like, it took you 15 minutes and you decided to count and not realize that you guys were last?
Danny?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a little like bummer because I was holding the like, all right, do you just want to quit? Are you just like, hey, we're just going to like bow out because we don't want to finish? Like, or does somebody show up at where you're at for the first time in history? So it definitely was like interesting that he's like, oh yeah, we're still in the race. I'm like, have you seen anybody? Like, you haven't seen anybody all day long.
I think the thing is this: Marshall wasn't going to be able to do it and crawl around in the sand. It is what it is. And I think he's just becoming weaker and weaker and weaker. Lance's like, I got this. Marshall's literally sitting on a chair at this point, like in the thing. But you know what? I feel like I have to give him credit for doing as much as he could do. Yes. And like, the knee is not a pinky. Like, you need your knee to do a lot of things. And this is a race and you're running. And he did the best he could with what he had. And I have to say, Lance's positivity was really, really nice toward his brother. His negativity towards some of the other female contestants didn't age well, but his positivity with his brother, really, really nice. And I think they were probably asked by a producer, like, why are you stopping? And he's like, we've counted the things. It's getting dark. We don't think it's another non-elimination. We've done all we can do. We're out. And in the first, go ahead.
So, because I was going to say, is this really a full elimination? Because I don't think it is.
Of course it is. What are you talking about?
I think Danny.
I think this counts as a quit.
Yeah.
I think that there's a difference between Phil showing up like in a certain hay bale challenge, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't give up. They kept going. They never stopped. But in this, it's kind of like, we're done.
Right.
I'm calling it a full elimination. He comes out on the course. He says you are the last team. Because honestly, once every team is checked in, even if they kept going and not stopped, he was coming out to the course. He's not going to let them stay there for 14 hours whenever team is checked in. So, like, call it a quit, call it a full eliminate. Either way, Phil's come out to you. All right, fine.
He came out, but he didn't Phil eliminate him.
Yes, he did. You're the last team. You're out of the race. If he says to you, you are no longer in the race.
Because they were like, oh, we give up. And then Phil was like, well, it's a good, like, because you guys would have been eliminated. So they quit.
But then he says, you are the last team. You are eliminated. If Phil eliminates you, it's a elimination.
He did that to be petty because he's like, you're not about to quit and I came all the way out here. So he's like.
Right, but even if
Purple, all right, we're throwing Survivor.
Okay.
You out there and say you quit. Is Jeff still going, the tribe has spoken?
Are you quitting at a tribal council where Jeff snuffs your torch? If Jeff snuffs your torch, you're done.
If you quit and they don't even go to a vote, your torch doesn't get snuffed.
Right, I would call that a quit. Marshall and Lance were on the course and we're told,
but okay,
every other team is checked in. You are no longer. You know what? Fine.
You know
we
what?
can do this all night.
No, because this is what I'm going to do. Because then, okay, so in that logic, right, on Survivor, say if Danny were to quit because there was a crab challenge and we don't go to vote, then the next episode, right, they will go, Danny, the 5th person eliminated, even though he quit. So that's like Phil saying after they quit, you're eliminated, because that's the lingo that they have to use.
All I'm saying is if they quit on the course and Phil didn't come out and it was like we quit and they walked off into the sunset, no elimination. Because Phil came out and said you are no longer in the race, elimination.
I'm with Danny. You got to be actively
you're both
doing
wrong,
your
but
thing.
okay.
And Phil comes out. So this was a prequel.
Because has anybody ever quit on The Amazing Race and not been eliminated?
Come on, Danny.
Yeah, but people have quit like at the mat and then they don't get eliminated because Phil didn't come out on the course. The elimination is not. Hold on. The elimination is not the quitting versus not quitting. The elimination is the act of Phil Kogan coming out onto the race course and letting a team know they are no longer in the race. That happens.
You can't be in the race after you quit.
Okay, but I can see to that point, Brooke. Brooke, you can agree, like, they were eliminated by Phil, but they quit.
Thank you.
They were still eliminated by Phil, and they quit. Yes,
but he came out there.
The both bands.
They can both be true.
Yes.
Danny.
Oh, I thought you were on Danny's side for this.
Danny, what comes first, the chicken or the egg?
The quitting.
Thank you. So
But you can quit and also be eliminated.
No, you can't. If you quit, you out the game.
And when Phil comes on the race course and tells you you're out of the game, that is the elimination.
You can't fillet me if I quit.
Okay. Anyway, teams head to the West.
No, wait. Because we're not letting Danny slide on this. We are not letting Danny slide. Danny, you need to pick a side. Who is it? The first elimination, or did they quit and he just came out to the course? You got to pick a side.
Keeping in mind that I say a elimination can be a team that quits as long as Phil comes out to the course. That is the elimination.
Hold on, Danny. Hold on. Wait, I'm getting a little static. Hold on 1 second. All right, Brooke going. Okay, go. Just tell the truth.
Okay, they quit, but then Phil used the word of like, "Hey, you're eliminated."
No, Danny.
Wait. He said you're eliminated, but that is like they quit. He didn't eliminate them like in a traditional sense. It was like all right, you quit. All right, get out of here. You're eliminated. Like we don't.
You're eliminated on the course.
Okay, no, I'm not.
What are you putting on your busy glasses? Is this you're getting down to busy glasses?
No, because Danny is playing semantics here. So I understand
some social.
So I want to know what's your thought?
I think it's the first. I would say this is the first team that's ever quit the game.
Thank you.
Disagree.
Reason for why I like.
So you're telling me you don't think Phil coming out on the course is a elimination?
I think that I would classify, if you asked me, this is the first time, I would say, hey, this is the first time someone's quit. And I think that's not my question. I agree. Hold on.
Wait, what did I say?
I also agree.
Asked and answered. Asked and answered. Your Honor, asked and answered.
Overruled. I also agree. This is the first time a team has quit. This is the first time a team has quit.
Put a period in the sentence.
This is also the first time Phil has ever done a elimination. It is both. Okay. if you're watching this, chime in
Please
underneath
weigh
and
in.
tell Bryce why he's wrong. Thank
No,
you.
I'm not wrong. I agree with
Danny,
what
I
you're
was
saying. It's the
on
first time
your
Phil
side.
came out
I
there
invited you
and
to
had
be
to
part
do
of
his
it.
job because they're really working Phil this season. Because Phil had to get up 6 o'clock in the morning last episode to get Colin and Christy to check them in, and then they had him working late tonight. All I'm saying is, for me, the youngest person on this podcast here currently. So you and Danny have lived longer lives than I have, but
That's wild.
a Phil elimination is where you are, and Phil comes out and it says, "Stop, guys, you're the last team to check in." That's a Phil elimination.
That's not right, but okay. Oh, yes, Danny, you have something to say?
No, because Danny.
What happened to Danny and Angie? What was the language that was used?
Well, so no.
I remember now you are eliminated, and we are the first team on the mat to ever be eliminated.
So, Danny, that's a different situation. That's Phil see me outside bop situation because that's another first of a first.
True. Multiple firsts.
But just to be clear, it wasn't the first Phil elimination. And Phil got to come out. You can't quit. If you quit, you quit.
All I'm saying is 2 of us have been on the show and 1 of us has seen 6 episodes. So I would just think that.
Oh, he gooped.
Brooke, you did not have to read me like that. And I got a Charlie horse. Hold on.
What is that song from JoJo Siwa? Karma is a bitch. And
I got a Charlie horse, y'all, and I really feel like this is the spirit of Marshall. Marshall was like, "You want leg injuries?" Okay, I'm back.
Oh.
Have you ever had a Charlie horse in the middle of the night, though?
Yes, I get woken up with them. It's dehydrated.
You've never? Well, I thought it's like a lack of something deficiency.
I have white horses, all kinds.
All kinds, Charlie included. That's really funny.
So,
oh man.
Sorry, Brooke, continue. It was the first.
Right, the first elimination that ever happened in the Amazing Race.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm glad that we all agree on that now. Thanks, great, awesome. And so now team needs to go to the West Nile Ferryport and take a water taxi to Crocodile Island. The names here are great to check in. Colin and Christy are first. They win a trip to Mexico. Where? Who knows? It's so great when teams win. You win a trip to Latin America. I mean, where? Like, I don't know. Chip and Kim. What do you probably we can ask them and find out when they're eliminated. If they're eliminated, we shall see. Chip and Kim come in second. I mean, Chip and Kim come in second. It's now dark. So between first and second, it gets dark. Cammy and Carly come in third. Brandon, Nicole, Jesus, and Satan come in fourth. Charlotte and Myrna are fifth. Linda and Karen are sixth. And in the first elimination ever, Marshall and Lance quit. And then Phil comes out to the chorus and tells them they're eliminated. It's only not called eliminated because it wasn't a term yet. Because the first one.
So what happened again, Brooke? You said what?
He's going to cut me off.
I'm not. I'm just asking you.
I am.
What are you saying?
Marshall and Lance quit.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Marshall and Lance, the first quit, not the first Phil elimination.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been muted.
Oh.
He muted me so that I wouldn't talk. Oh, if I had $1 for every time somebody muted me. Okay. Wow. Anyway, I got nothing. I will tell you, nothing would make me happier than to have people in the comment section be like, it's a quit and the first elimination.
Okay.
Okay. I'm fine with that as long as
I'm gonna write it in the comment section no less than 100 times.
Throw out a poll. And then
I'll put a poll out.
Discuss it on your next podcast.
Yes, and we'll have the results. Actually, you know what? We'll do a poll. I'll send them to Danny. And Danny, if you could just send me a voice audio reading it so we know the integrity of it is true.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Well, I'm so sorry things had to get so sour, Danny. But you know, I am so happy we got to
conflict. Healthy
conflict. I honestly have no idea where Danny landed on this. So
I do.
Did he land with you?
Yeah, he agreed. No, I mean he didn't land with me. He landed with what is right.
And what is right is an interesting thing sometimes.
Which is that I will say now. And
Yes.
such. Thank you.
Oh, this was so much fun being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for doing it. Did you get to all the pages of your color-coded notes?
Search
Is
and
there
find
anything you want to add?
Okay, I did write down the other quits. There have been 3 other quits since that, but I won't talk about those quits.
No, talk about them. You should. Who are they?
People haven't seen. We can't spoil.
Oh, that is right. Thank you for protecting the integrity of someone that will go on
this
to
season.
see. No, I know, but he's protecting me from the seasons that I will see.
He won't remember. You'll tell me after. That's fine.
Well,
So,
you can tell us.
There's been three other quits which have been interesting. So it's wild that there's only been 4.
What seasons were they?
Season 15, season 22 because of an injury as well. So season 22 had a father-son, and there was an injury, and they were a strong father-son duo on.
It's actually a good. I think they go further. They actually don't stop right when he gets injured. They do another leg of the race, and then it's like. And he's more injured than Marshall.
Oh, wow. But it also reminds me of the dad this season because he got injured and went a whole nother leg as well.
Yep.
He's more injured than that, too.
Oh, wow.
He's on crutches.
Oh, wow.
And then season 32, there were football players at the final.
He watched that one.
Oh, wait. How did I see that one? The older men, they quit?
No, it was
Will and James. It was the Mine 5, like the Alliance, and they
But you call them a quit?
Yeah, because they quit the roadblock and said.
Did they not finish it?
They might have, but I think they.
Because I think they went to the mat because I half remember, Bryce, we had this conversation where Gary and, oh my God. D'Angelo, where D'Angelo said something about not needing the money anyway at the mat, and I felt like that was not something great to say, and he wouldn't have said anything unless they were at the mat, and they wouldn't.
They were at the mat, but people classified it as a quit because they just were like, all right, we're done with the challenge. Just take us to the mat.
Oh, so they didn't complete the challenge. Yeah, so that is a quit. And I'm sorry, Danny. What did Marshall and Lance? Did they find the scallop? Okay.
Okay, so here's the difference. Gary and D'Angelo quit and then went to the mat. So Phil eliminated them at the mat. Marshall and Lance quit, and then Phil went to them. Hence, it is a elimination.
I'm so sorry, Danny. The 2 players were D'Angelo and Gary. So
you can quit and be at different mats.
Thank you. But so I just wanted to ensure, because I'm just taking notes. Yeah. If you don't complete a challenge, that's essentially like forfeiting. You're not.
So it depends, because if it's a challenge during and you take a penalty, you're like, all right, it's a penalty. We're going to take 4 hours. Because like in a recent season, there was like David and oh my goodness, 2 seasons ago, the ice challenge.
Lewis and Michelle's season?
Aubrey and David. Yeah, Lewis and Michelle. The final like 4 ice challenge. They're like, all right, we can't do it. We're just going to take the penalty. But they sat there the whole time. And
they didn't just go to the.
And they didn't just go to the. So I classify that as they didn't do the challenge, but they wanted to wait the time and integrity and like not quit. Gary and D'Angelo were like, we quit. Marshall and Lance said, we quit.
We quit.
And then
we're still eliminated.
Right.
But a full elimination is you can't quit and then get eliminated. But
that's my question. Why is that the case? Why is a elimination only if you haven't quit? If Phil comes to you on the course, quit, not quit, or otherwise. It's the act of Phil coming out on the course and telling a team they are no longer in the race. Doesn't matter if the team's like, we know we're no. That's like me saying I quit and then my job saying you're fired. And I'm going to go, that's great. You can fire me all you want. I just quit.
Depending if you want to collect unemployment.
That's a great point. Would you say that you were fired? If people asked, hey, were you fired? When you said, hey, I quit. And then your job's like, all right, you're fired. Would you tell people you were fired?
Well, if Phil came to my office and said you're fired, I would say I was eliminated. Yes. But it's the act of Phil coming out on the course. It doesn't matter the ending for the team. That's what I'm saying.
So no, I'm with you. Him coming out there can be of elimination, right?
Ooh,
But
ooh.
it's not, hear me out. It's not a complete elimination if they quit. Like he needs to eliminate them. They need to like, feel like, yeah, they quit. They ruined the surprise. It's like going to a surprise party. You open the door and see the people, and you greet the people, and then they yell surprise. And you
Okay. You know what? Agree to agree. I am on board with this. If we can agree that the elimination is the act of him coming to the, and there could be different types of eliminations: a quit, a not quit.
no.
Oh, all right.
I agree with that.
I'm agreeing with what you're saying. Like there could be different types of Phil showing up, but a complete Phil elimination is Phil coming out to eliminate you.
Look, I really want to continue to be part of this podcast, so I'm going to say okay. I think Danny's on my side now.
I don't know. I just think I'm giving really bad analogies. Like, again, what I am saying is to be Phil eliminated. That's just it. To be Phil eliminated, Phil comes to you on the course, eliminates you. That's Phil eliminated.
Where Brooke's elimination is Phil just showing up
and saying you're no longer in the race.
Yes, and saying you're no longer in the race.
But
it's different definitions of Phil.
But no, okay, so I'm fine. I can be. Give me her definition again, Danny, because I want to just speak directly.
I think Brooke's definition of Phil elimination is Phil showing up and telling people that their race is over, so they quit, and then Phil's coming out being like, "Yep, you quit. All right, you're done. Get out." And that's why I think
don't show up at the start line because you're not in this anymore. Yeah.
But would I say that Phil had the act of eliminating them in the final say? No, they had the final say in quitting, where Phil just needed to do the additional, like, all right, now get out.
So that's just the difference for me is that you can't say you quit. Because, like, I don't know, maybe it's different. In the Survivor realm, like, you know, Danny, specifically in this new era, last 3 seasons, these people that have manufacturedly quit or, like, they give them hell. Like that's like, you know, so for me, it's like, even if he come in and you say you quit, it don't count. You don't even get the honor of us calling it a Phil elimination. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
And I will say in a recent season, there was a father-daughter duo and she wanted to quit and said multiple times throughout the day that she wanted to quit. And Phil got to the end and was like, all right, do you want to stay in the race? They were 5th place. And he was like, all right, you can quit right now. I don't know if we've seen like an actual, like one of those quits where they haven't been in last place.
But also, if that's on the mat, that's not a elimination. I think the elimination is the location of the elimination.
Gotcha.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. I agree to that.
Okay.
But for it to be a complete that,
fine,
they can't quit.
Fine.
Okay.
We have a elimination and a complete elimination. I like it.
No, because I feel like that's even no. So we
all right,
drop
in the comments below whose side you're on. Give us.
I was agreeing. I was trying to be.
You were, but mine had to be the complete, so that makes mine seem like an afterthought. No, it's Phil elimination.
There's your elimination, and there's my not quite totally.
Right.
There you go.
There's Danny and Angie's elimination,
which is bogus, and bring them back.
Bring them back. Well, okay. Thank you so much for being
this
the
went on
judge,
for
jury.
20 extra minutes of us discussing.
Sorry.
If you choose to come back next week, we really appreciate you.
But thank you so much, Danny. We appreciate you. Before we go, I know you have your YouTube page. Are you doing anything? Like, are you covering anything, you and Mom? Because, you know, I live for those recaps over there.
Yeah, Read the Clue recap will be coming back next season of Amazing Race, which unfortunately isn't coming until spring, which is such a bummer. But I mean, you can give the Instagram a follow at dbutts, DBUTSS. I am hosting like little live game shows. So actually this upcoming Saturday, I'm casting 12 people to play in a genius game and filming it and putting it together. And it's been pretty fun. Got people flying in from New York, Canada. It's just like mini game show. And I'm going to be hosting a awesome race, not the amazing race. hopefully coming up in November in San Diego, and so excited to start casting for
I'm gonna
that.
pretend my invitation for the Little Genius game show thing got lost in the
Yeah.
But the Awesome Race invitation hopefully won't.
Oh my gosh, Bryce, do you want to be my partner on the Awesome Race in San Diego?
I don't know. I gotta see. I wouldn't want to get Danny eliminate Danny I don't know. I'd have to say. But no, this has been so much fun. By far one of my favorite recap of this season 5. All because of you, Danny. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week covering Amazing Race, season 5, episode
7.
7. All right, we're out. Bye.
Sorry, bye.
Pit stop. Pit stop. It's a